When Edge had sex with Lita on live TV in 2006, the entire WWE universe thought they had seen it all, but older fans knew this was far from the truth. WWE has always aired edgy content, from Mae Young taking off her top in 2000 to the Cat doing the same thing in 1999. It's always been a roller coaster ride. Not all censor-worthy moments are explicit, though. Some take a darker turn. Let's explore some of the craziest live scenes that should have been censored. Lita and Edge's live sex celebration on Raw. The live sex celebration segment on WWE's Raw in 2006 was a highly controversial and provocative episode that sparked intense debate among fans and critics alike. The segment featured Edge and Lita, who were engaged in a real-life affair, celebrating Edge's WWE Championship win in an explicit manner. The affair between Edge and Lita was a real-life scandal that rocked the WWE community, as Lita was in a relationship with Matt Hardy, a close friend of Edge. The love triangle was incorporated into WWE storylines, leading to a heated feud between Hardy and Edge. The live sex celebration segment was a bold move by WWE to capitalize on the real-life drama. Edge and Lita's passionate embrace in the ring, leading to a provocative bedroom scene, left audiences stunned. The explicit content was a departure from WWE's typical programming and pushed the boundaries of what was considered acceptable on live television. The fallout from the segment was intense, with critics accusing WWE of crossing a line. Fans were divided, with some praising the segment's audacity and others condemning it as tasteless and inappropriate. It is one of many other WWE segments that viewers believe should have been censored, much like the nude scene we saw in 2016. AJ Styles' rear end exposed at TLC pay-per-view 2016. The world of professional wrestling is known for its high-flying action, intense matches, and unpredictable moments. One such moment occurred at the TLC pay-per-view in 2016, involving AJ Styles, one of the most talented and respected wrestlers in the industry. Styles was set to defend his WWE Championship against Dean Ambrose in a TLC match, a contest known for its brutal and unpredictable nature. As the match progressed, it lived up to its billing, with both Styles and Ambrose delivering a series of jaw-dropping spots. However, in the heat of the action, a miscommunication between the two led to an awkward landing, resulting in Styles' ring gear getting caught and accidentally exposing his rear end. The live audience and viewers at home were left in stunned silence before erupting into laughter. The commentators tried to maintain their composure, but they couldn't even help but acknowledge the unexpected turn of events. Social media exploded with reactions, with fans and fellow wrestlers alike sharing their amusement and embarrassment over the incident. Despite the embarrassment, Styles continued to deliver an incredible performance, retaining his WWE Championship and showcasing his resilience and determination. The match itself was praised for its intensity and high-flying action, but it was the unexpected exposure that stole the headlines. He handled the situation with grace, unlike the wrestlers during the Attitude Era. Shaniqua's profanity-filled rant on SmackDown. During the Attitude Era, a time when WWE was renowned for its edgy and controversial content, Shaniqua, a formidable and intimidating figure, made a lasting impact with a profanity-filled rant on SmackDown. Shaniqua's character was designed to be both feared and respected, often involved in intense storylines and rivalries. During a heated segment on SmackDown, Shaniqua addressed her rivals in the WWE Universe with a tirade that left everyone in shock. The live audience and viewers at home were stunned as she started cursing, expressing her frustration and anger in no uncertain terms. The rant was raw, unfiltered, and completely unexpected. The segment was supposed to be a typical promo, but it quickly turned into one of the most controversial moments in SmackDown history. What made it even more shocking was that it made it to air without any censorship. The WWE found itself at the center of a heated debate about the limits of acceptable content. For Shaniqua, the rant became a defining moment in her career, showcasing her ability to deliver a powerful and memorable promo. However, it also highlighted the risks of live television and the unpredictability of the Attitude Era. The segment was replayed and discussed extensively, becoming a part of WWE lore. Bad words are one thing, but the next wrestler on this video went topless on live TV. The Cat expose at Armageddon in 1999. In 1999, the Armageddon pay-per-view event featured a women's title match that would go down in history for all the wrong reasons. The Cat, also known as Miss Kitty, was a prominent figure in WWE's women's division at the time. Known for her bold personality and willingness to push boundaries, she was involved in various high-profile storylines. However, it was her actions after the match that truly cemented her place in WWE history. As the match concluded, the Cat took center stage, grabbing a microphone and addressing the crowd. In a shocking and an unprecedented move. She exposed herself to the live audience and viewers at home. The explicit act was broadcast without any censorship. WWE faced significant backlash from fans, media, and advocacy groups who condemned the incident as inappropriate and offensive. The company took steps to address the incident, editing subsequent editions of the Armageddon pay-per-view to censor the cat's expose. However, the damage had already been done. The moment had been broadcast live, and it was impossible to erase it from the memories of those who had witnessed it. The cat defended her actions, stating she wanted to push boundaries and make a statement. However, not everyone agreed. The Right to Censor group targeted the cat, using the incident to further their storyline and portray themselves as WWE's moral guardians. Fred Durst's gesture at SummerSlam 2012. SummerSlam 2012 was already shaping up to be an unforgettable event, with high-stakes matches and dramatic storylines packing the card. But no one could have predicted the controversial moment that would steal the show. Fred Durst, the outspoken frontman of Limp Bizkit, was set to make a guest appearance, and his reputation for pushing boundaries had everyone on edge. As Durst appeared on camera, he suddenly raised his middle finger, flipping the bird to the live audience and viewers at home. The gesture was brazen and unexpected, leaving everyone in stunned silence. The camera quickly cut away, but it was too late. Fans in the arena and those watching at home were left in disbelief, unsure of how to process what they had just witnessed. WWE officials were quick to respond, removing Durst from the arena and distancing themselves from the incident. The gesture had crossed a line, threatening to undermine the delicate balance between edgy content and family-friendly programming that WWE had worked hard to maintain. The incident had a lasting impact on Durst's relationship with WWE. The Rock's slip of the tongue during the invasion. During the height of the invasion storyline, The Rock found himself at the center of a controversial moment. The Rock, known for his electrifying charisma and sharp wit, was delivering a promo on a live episode of Raw, facing off against WBW and ECW rivals. As he spoke, his words were laced with confidence and swagger, captivating the audience. But in the heat of the moment, The Rock accidentally let slip a curse word. The unscripted expletive caught everyone off guard, including The Rock himself. The live audience reacted with a mix of cheers and gasps. The curse word had slipped past the censors, making it to air without any bleep or delay. Commentators tried to maintain their composure, but even they couldn't help but acknowledge the unscripted nature of the incident. For The Rock, the slip of the tongue was a rare and uncharacteristic mistake. However, The Rock handled the situation with his trademark humor and charisma, later addressing the incident in interviews and on social media. In the aftermath of the incident, WWE took steps to ensure that similar moments would be caught by censors in the future. Kofi Kingston's gesture. However, his reign was marked by a controversial feud with Samoa Joe, which reached a boiling point during a live episode of SmackDown. The tension between the two superstars was great, and their in-ring confrontation was intense. In a scripted moment, Kofi Kingston flipped the bird, raising his middle finger in defiance. The gesture was meant to symbolize his refusal to back down, but it caught the audience and viewers off guard in 2019. It was a classic David versus Goliath story, with Kofi, the underdog, facing off against the formidable and ruthless Samoa Joe. The feud began when Samoa Joe, then a heel, bad guy, started targeting Kofi, who was the newly crowned WWE champion. Joe saw Kofi as a weak champion and believed he didn't deserve the title. He began to taunt and bully Kofi, saying he was only champion because of luck and circumstance. Kofi, determined to prove himself, accepted Joe's challenges, and the two started a series of matches. The rivalry quickly escalated, with both men delivering scathing promos and engaging in brutal matches. The feud finally culminated at the Clash of Champions event, where Kofi emerged, victorious, retaining his title and proving himself as a worthy champion. Scott Steiner's Profane return at Survivor Series 2002. Scott Steiner, also known as Big Papa Pump, has a rich history in professional wrestling that spans over 2 decades. He began his career in the late 1980s, competing in various independent promotions and eventually signing with World Championship Wrestling, WCW, in 1990. Steiner quickly made a name for himself in WCW, becoming a dominant force in the ring and a fan favorite. He was known for his intense matches, charismatic personality, and impressive physique. Steiner's career in WCW was marked by numerous championship reigns, including the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, which he held on several occasions. In 2001, WCW was acquired by the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now known as WWE. Steiner's contract was acquired by WWE, but he did not immediately join the company. Instead, he took some time off from professional wrestling, focusing on his personal life and business ventures. The Survivor Series pay-per-view in 2002 was already highly anticipated, but no one expected the controversial return of Scott Steiner. When Steiner's music hit, hit, the crowd erupted, and Steiner made his way to the ring, looking as imposing as ever. Unprovoked, Steiner launched into a promo filled with explicit language, addressing his rivals in the WWE universe with intensity. The live audience and viewers at home were taken aback by the raw and unfiltered nature of his words. Bad as it was nothing compared to the dark story of our next wrestler. Chris Benoit's name appeared uncensored in WWE 24. Chris Benoit's name made a brief appearance on WWE 24 in 2016. This unexpected moment was a rare sighting of Benoit's name in any WWE context, given his complicated history with the company. Chris Benoit was a wrestling powerhouse renowned for his intense matches and prestigious championships. However, his career was marred by a tragic event in 2007 that forever changed the wrestling landscape. On June 22, 2007, Benoit murdered his wife Nancy in their home in Fayetteville, Georgia. He then killed their 7-year-old son, Daniel, before hanging himself in the basement of their home. The investigation into the tragedy revealed a complex and disturbing picture of Benoit's mental state and personal life leading up to the events. It was discovered that Benoit had been suffering from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, brain disease caused by repeated head trauma, which is common in professional wrestlers. Benoit's CTE diagnosis was likely a contributing factor to his increasing paranoia, depression, and irritability in the months leading up to the tragedy. Additionally, he had been using anabolic steroids and human growth hormone, which may have further contributed to his deteriorating mental state. Benoit's dark past led WWE to largely expunge his legacy from their archives, making this moment on WWE 24 all the more remarkable. Eddie Guerrero's uncensored rant at SummerSlam 2005. Eddie Guerrero's uncensored rant at SummerSlam 2005 was a memorable and controversial moment in professional wrestling history. During a live pay-per-view event, Guerrero, who was a fan favorite at the time, launched into an unscripted and profanity-laced rant directed at his opponent, Rey Mysterio, and the WWE management. The rant was sparked by a storyline feud between Guerrero and Mysterio, which had been building for weeks. However, Guerrero's words went beyond the usual wrestling banter as he began to air his grievances about the company's creative direction and his own treatment as a performer. Guerrero's uncensored language and candid comments about the WWE's backstage politics shocked the audience and the wrestling community. The moment was both intense and uncomfortable, with some fans cheering Guerrero's honesty, while others were taken aback by his raw emotion. The 38-year-old wrestler was eventually found unresponsive in his hotel room by his nephew, Chavo Guerrero. Despite attempts to revive him, Eddie was pronounced dead. The cause of death was revealed to be a heart attack, but the underlying factors were years of substance abuse, including steroids and painkillers. Eddie's struggles with addiction had been well documented, and he had been open about his battles in the past. William Regal's wardrobe malfunction at No Mercy, 2006. In the world of professional wrestling, scripted drama and carefully planned storylines are the norm. However, sometimes unexpected moments can occur, leaving both the wrestlers and the audience in shock. One such moment happened to William Regal, a seasoned wrestler known for his technical skills and sophisticated persona. During a backstage segment, Regal was supposed to be preparing for his upcoming match, wrapped in a towel. The segment was intended to be lighthearted, showcasing Regal's character in a humorous light, but fate had other plans. As the cameras rolled, Regal's towel slipped, revealing far more than intended to the live audience and viewers at home. The live audience gasped, and the commentators were momentarily speechless. Regal, ever the professional, tried to maintain his composure, quickly grabbing the towel to cover himself. The aftermath was swift. WWE edited the footage for future broadcasts, ensuring the wardrobe malfunction was not shown again. For William Regal, the incident was a low point in his illustrious career. Known for his dignity and professionalism, this wardrobe malfunction was a stark contrast to the image he had cultivated over the years. Despite the embarrassment, Regal handled the situation with grace, continuing his career without letting the incident define him. Mae Young's topless moment at Royal Rumble 2000. Mae Young, a pioneer in women's wrestling, made a lasting impact on the sport. However, her topless moment during the Miss Rumble 2000 inches swimsuit contest at the Royal Rumble in 2000 left audiences in shock. In 2000, WWE added a swimsuit contest featuring several female wrestlers and personalities. Mae Young, at 76 years old, was one of the contestants. As the contest progressed, Mae took the stage with confidence, but when it was her turn, she disrobed, exposing her breasts to the live audience, and the rest of the wrestling world. This unscripted moment was unlike anything WWE had ever broadcasted before. WWE quickly edited the moment out of future re-airings of the event, making it difficult for it to circulate. The incident sparked a conversation about the portrayal of women in wrestling and the fine line between entertainment and exploitation. Mae Young's topless moment at the Royal Rumble highlighted the unpredictable nature of live television and the lengths performers would go to entertain the audience. While some fans appreciated Mae's boldness, others felt the moment was inappropriate and should have been censored. Mae Young's career spanned over 7 decades, starting in 1939. She wrestled against men and women, earning the respect of her peers. Mae was a trailblazer, paving the way for future generations of female wrestlers. Of course, many of the younger divas who attempted similar things regretted it bitterly, as you'll see in our next entry. Diva search segment got out of control in 2004. In 2004, WWE's Diva Search aimed to introduce new female talent to the wrestling world. However, the Diss the Diva segment of the competition crossed the line, becoming a moment that should have been censored. The segment featured contestants Joy Giovanni, Amy Weber, Carmella de Cesare, and Christy Hemme verbally attacking each other. The insults quickly turned personal, sexual, and extreme, exceeding WWE's standards at the time. Carmella de Cesare made sexually suggestive remarks, while Christy Hemme responded with equally provocative and explicit insults. The segment devolved into a spectacle of verbal abuse, far removed from its intended lighthearted entertainment. The careers of all the divas involved took dramatic turns after the segment. Joy Giovanni, a fan favorite, saw her WWE career cut short. She was released from her contract in 2005 and shifted her focus to modeling and acting, which she also struggled with. Amy Weber's WWE career was equally brief, lasting only a few months after the Diva Search. She pursued acting and modeling, and Carmella de Cesare's career took a controversial turn. She posed for Playboy and later ventured into the adult entertainment industry. Christy Hemme's WWE career spanned several years, during which she transitioned from a wrestler to a backstage interviewer. However, she left WWE in 2009 and shifted her focus to fitness and nutrition. Bret Hart's profanity-filled promo. In the late 1990s, WWE was pushing the envelope with its edgy content and larger-than-life characters. One moment that stood out was Bret Hart's unscripted, profanity-filled promo before WrestleMania 13. Bret the Hitman Hart was known for his technical wrestling skills and his persona as the excellence of execution. However, by WrestleMania 13, Hart was frustrated with his storyline and character direction. This frustration culminated in a live promo that would go down in WWE history for its raw emotion and explicit language. On an episode of Monday Night Raw, just weeks before WrestleMania 13, Hart was scheduled to face Stone Cold Steve Austin. However, instead of a typical scripted promo, Hart unleashed a profanity-filled tirade directed at Vince McMahon, berating him and the WWE organization for perceived unfair treatment and poor booking decisions. The language Hart used was shocking, with multiple expletives that were rarely heard on WWE programming. The live audience was stunned into silence, and the commentators struggled to keep up with the intensity of the moment. However, it also raised questions about the appropriateness of such explicit content on live television. Many felt it should have been censored to maintain a family-friendly product. The aftermath saw a more intense feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin, making their match at WrestleMania 13 one of the most memorable in WWE history. It also set a precedent for more explicit content in WWE programming, paving the way for the Attitude Era. Chyna's feud with Right to Censor. Chyna, a trailblazing female wrestler, stood tall in the ring, her fierce gaze fixed on her opponent, Ivory, the WWF Women's Champion and a member of the Right to Censor group. The air was electric with tension as the two women faced off, their differences simmering just below the surface. Chyna, known for her bold and empowering persona, had been challenging Ivory for the title, but the Right to Censor group saw her as a threat to their conservative values. They claimed her character was too explicit, too provocative, and too dangerous for the WWF's family-friendly audience, but Chyna refused to back down, determined to prove that her character was a symbol of female empowerment, not something to be censored or silenced. The feud raged on, with Chyna facing off against Val Venis and Bull Buchanan, but she remained defiant, using her platform to advocate for self-expression and individuality, defeating Ivory and cementing her place as a top female wrestler in the WWF. Jerry Lawler versus Steven Richards. The match between Jerry the King Lawler and Steven Richards at No Way Out in February 2001 was a highly controversial and intense bout that sparked debate among fans and critics alike. Lawler, a WWE Hall of Famer and legendary wrestler, had transitioned to a commentary role, but still occasionally stepped into the ring. Richards, leader of the Right to Censor group, aimed to clean up WWE's content, targeting anything deemed inappropriate. The tension between them began when the Right to Censor group targeted Lawler's commentary and in-ring antics, accusing him of promoting indecency and corruption. Richards, a skilled wrestler and charismatic leader, saw Lawler as a symbol of the old guard and a representative of the explicit content he sought to eradicate. As the feud escalated, the two wrestlers engaged in a series of heated exchanges, both in the ring and on the microphone. The match at No Way Out was the culmination of this intense feud. The bout was filled with intense action and controversial moments, with both wrestlers pulling out all the stops to secure a victory. Lawler took the fight to Richards, using his signature moves and brawling style to try and overpower him. Richards, meanwhile, relied on his cunning and the support of his Right to Censor allies. In the end, Richards secured a controversial victory with the help of his allies, leaving the crowd in outrage. Some other censor-worthy moments were much darker, as you'll see in the next few entries. Malcolm King Kong Kirk. Malcolm King Kong Kirk was born on May 23, 1946, in Leeds, England. He began his wrestling career in the late 1960s, competing in various regional promotions in the UK. Kirk's size and strength quickly made him a formidable presence in the ring, and he became known for his dominant style and charismatic personality. Kirk's career spanned over 2 decades, during which he faced some of the biggest names in professional wrestling. He was a regular fixture on ITV's World of Sport program, which showcased British wrestling to a national audience. Kirk's matches were often highly anticipated and closely watched, thanks to his reputation as a fierce competitor. Despite his tough in-ring persona, Kirk was known to be a kind and gentle soul outside of the ring. He was beloved by fans and respected by his peers, who admired his dedication to the sport and his passion for entertaining the audience. Kirk's final match against Big Daddy was a highly publicized event that drew a large crowd. The match was intense and physical, with both men giving it their all. Tragically, Kirk's heart condition proved to be too much to overcome. The big splash, Kirk remained on the mat, turning purple. He was rushed to the hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. The cause of death was attributed to a pre-existing heart condition. Janette Wolfe Boyer. Janette Wolfe Boyer was a professional wrestler who competed in various regional promotions in the United States. On July 27th, she participated in a tag team match alongside WWE Hall of Famer Mae Young. Before the match, Boyer complained of a headache, but despite her discomfort, she decided to compete. During the bout, Boyer tagged out and stood on the apron, looking dazed and disoriented. Suddenly, she collapsed to the ground, prompting immediate concern from her fellow wrestlers and the audience. Boyer was rushed to the hospital, where she underwent emergency treatment. Tragically, she passed away the next day, on July 28th. The cause of Boyer's death was determined to be a brain hemorrhage resulting from a blood clot. Her sudden and unexpected passing shocked the professional wrestling community, and she was remembered by her peers and fans as a talented and dedicated wrestler. Boyer's match with Mae Young was a significant event in her career, as it marked one of her few appearances alongside a well-known WWE wrestler. Mae Young, a pioneer in women's professional wrestling, was a respected figure in the industry, and Boyer's pairing with her was seen as a notable opportunity. Lethal Larry Cameron. Larry Cameron, a formidable figure in the world of professional wrestling, met a tragic fate on December 13, 1993. The 41-year-old wrestler, known to fans as Lethal Larry, collapsed in the ring during a match against Tony St. Clair in Bremen, Germany. As the two wrestlers engaged in a fierce battle, Cameron suddenly clutched his chest and fell to the mat. The audience was in shock, thinking it was part of the show, but the gravity of the situation soon became apparent. The referee and St. Clair rushed to Cameron's side, attempting to revive him, but it was too late. Cameron was pronounced dead at the hospital, the victim of a heart attack. The wrestling world was stunned, mourning the loss of a talented and charismatic performer. Born on April 22, 1952, Cameron began his athletic career as a football player, competing at the professional level before transitioning to wrestling. As Lethal Larry, Cameron made a name for himself in various promotions, including the World Wrestling Federation, WWF, now known as WWE, and European promotions like the German Wrestling Association, GWA. He was a force to be reckoned with in the ring, known for his strength, agility, and charisma. Owen Hart's tragic passing. Owen Hart was a talented Canadian professional wrestler born on May 7, 1965, into the renowned Hart wrestling family. He made a name for himself in the wrestling world, winning numerous championships, including the USWA Unified World Heavyweight Championship, WWF Intercontinental Championship twice, IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, WWF European Championship, and even the WWF World Tag Team Championship, which he won 4 times. Owen Hart's last match was a tragic and devastating event that shocked the wrestling world. On May 23, 1999, Owen faced the Godfather for the WWF Intercontinental Championship at the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. As he entered the arena, descending from the rafters via a harness, a catastrophic equipment failure occurred, and Owen plummeted to the ring, falling approximately 78 feet. Medical personnel rushed to the ring, and Owen was immediately transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead due to blunt force trauma to the head and neck. The event was witnessed by a horrified audience, including Owen's family and fellow wrestlers, who were left in a state of shock and grief. The remainder of the event was canceled, and the wrestling world mourned the loss of a talented and beloved wrestler. Thanks for watching. Check out the following videos for more content.